so rousing that everyone else joins him.
Yeah, I thought that was like Mercer, is like essentially making plans to take them back to Alexandria. It's like, you guys have done enough. And Zeke's like, actually, and they this throughout the whole episode, as the survivors are regrouping and gathering up, they're always saying like, we left a lot of people living on the roofs and we got to get it back there. And like, they've been saying like, okay, we got to get Judith, but then and this is Ezekiel paying that off and being the leader that he's always been. He's kind of hasn't been the last few seasons, but he's Ezekiel again.
No, I love where they leave Ezekiel in this episode as the governor of the Commonwealth. That feels like the most appropriate thing, the most appropriate person to take over. I would just say, make sure your pipes don't rust out and you'll probably be good.
That's true. Make sure there's plenty in the budget for pipe protection and the firefighting, because traditionally that's where his domestic policy has been the weakest. King Ezekiel.
It's true. Maggie and Negan spy Pamela through their sniper scope, and they're going to take the shot, but before they can, Mercer's team gets in behind Pamela and there's a standoff. The herd closes in on the people outside the gates, and Gabriel says, you know what, fuck this, I'm just going to open the gates whether they shoot me or not. Pamela orders him shot. Daryl orders him not shot and tells Pamela that they should be fighting together against their enemy, the Walking Dead. Let's stop there for a second.
I mean, this is great because everybody's got to, like, how do we came to Gabriel fresh after the trauma of him being at his church and him closing the doors on him pameling his entire congregation. Mm-hmm. And now he's the guy that's like, fuck this. I literally I cannot stand and let this happen again by proxy, and is the one that's going to break the, I like that. Yes. I like Pamela calling General Mercer a traitor and him reversing it on her. Mm-hmm. And then Daryl calling bullshit on this whole situation. Why? We all just better than this. And also like the fact that Pamela is just wrong, just like probably Gabriel was. She's like, we let the pores in, we'll let the dead in too. No, if you'd done this 5 minutes ago, it wouldn't have been close.
Right. That's the thing that kills me. And then Mercer's standing there, getting all righteous about Pamela's actions while the herd closes in on these innocent survivors. Just shoot her and be done with it, or arrest her and be done with it. Kick this thing into high gear, because all these people are about to die.
Yep. And Daryl is a disciple of Rick, and he's kind of quoting the where there's just light meat and dark meat now, and we ain't the Walking Dead. I thought that was funny.
Pamela's weakness seems to be she wants to get personally involved in everything. She should not have been in that shootout to shoot Judith in the first place. She should not be out here at the gates to be arrested. She should be back in her office communicating with her soldiers who are out there doing the work. I don't know what her thing is here. And
apparently because they were worried about, like, it is, you talk about that they didn't really tie everything into a bow. They mentioned that, like, Mercer can get us in without a fight. It'd been nice to see how they did that, because you're right. Maggie and Negan get in, no problem. Take this sniper position. Mercer just rolls up with a full-on squad.
They say they got somebody to let him in, but I don't know where or how.
Right.
I would have appreciated a little more info.
Yeah. It'd have been nice to see, but whatever.
All right, let's go with the second half of this scene. Pamela's new best goon agrees with Daryl's plea about us not being the Walking Dead and that being their enemy, and turns command back over to Mercer, who immediately arrests Pamela. Negan says, that's a fate worse than death for her. And they let the people inside.
Speaking for firsthand experience there.
That's true. They let the people inside the walls and then close the gates back up. And apparently Casey Jones gets in, and Jerry also gets in.
Yep. Still, he just
I'm not sure how that works. I guess they had wandered far enough away from. They had separated from the herd before. This moment, and then joined up with the crowd there.
He had rescued Casey and then followed them, and then somehow got in with the group of the poor people, and they were all herded. I mean, it kind of sort of makes sense, but
was just to stand outside the gates and hope that Pamela let them in. Like, I would
It
think
seems pretty
Jerry's plan
passive
would
for
be a
our
lot
group.
more personal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get back to my group, not I'm going to join
Yeah.
up with these dumbasses at the gate.
Yeah, like, oh God, I want to get back. I want to see how Nabila's doing, but the people in charge say we're not allowed in this gate. Like,
Right.
what? This is how Casey and or Jerry roll? I don't think so.
Nah, I agree.
But whatever, just don't think too much about it because Nicotero
Sure.
didn't. Neither did Kang. If we're
he did not.
neither did Kang, if we're being honest. She already had a Mai Tai in her hand.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, I think she's writing half these scripts from the beach, from Oceanside.
So, yeah, Pamela goes up to the gates and she's going to let the undead Hornsby, who shows up here, eat her face. But Judith says, nah, it's not too late to help. And Maggie snipes Hornsby.
Jim, you got to collect some internet points because what is a gate if not a door? And
Right?
Hornsby was jiggling
that knob. Oh, yeah.
He had 30, 40 zombies helping him, but he was jiggling this knob and he almost got to Pamela.
Uh-huh.
If it was up to Pamela, he would have got her.
This is true. Yeah.
God,
Only
we were so close to paying that off.
the angelic intervention, intervention from above could save her.
This fuck Pamela. Fuck Pamela Milton.
Oh, yeah.
I hate her. I hate this. I hate everything about it. I thought this scene was so stupid. The music almost makes it work.
Uh-huh.
But Judith is like the ghost of Christmas past. Like, it's not too late, Governor. We can save everyone. You need to just make a change. And then Maggie just like, nah. And she just blows away Hornsby.
She's not wrong, though. So here's the thing. I do believe that just about anybody can be redeemed. And if you want to look at The Walking Dead and say, what's a possible path forward for Pamela, it's Negan. And we've seen it and we've loved it. You know, I think the return of Negan to sanity, to the realm of the holy, has been a positive in this show.
No, you're right. You're right. And she's having a break with reality just as severe as Negan's was. And I just guess Negan, when he had his break with reality, he was cooler.
But I mean, this plays into the let my mercy overcome my wrath, right? Because I want to see Pamela killed. I'm fucking pissed at her. I don't want her to live to see a future in which she becomes something other than the villain. So I can understand the sentiment, but Judith is in there preaching her dad's word, you know?
I think they fucked up. They should have had Sebastian as the zombie. Because I believe that she is like so horrified and drawn to his face that she has to like. Whereas Hornsby didn't like. Oh, this is my chauffeur's son that I always thought was a twerp.
I agree. Sebastian would have worked better.
Yeah. But you know, what are you gonna do when you're writing scripts from the beach? 5 Mai Tais in.
Right. I think they spilled
cash in, and then you know she had to get $1 million buyout of that showrunner when they switched the show, you know, from Atlanta, Georgia to Paris, France. She probably got a fat payout from, you know, that contract getting dissolved. So
yeah, she probably got a villa or something in France. I don't know.
Well, then she should have just done the show. She's going to get a villa in France. Oh, that'd be funny if she took the severance money and bought a giant house right where they're filming.
Sure.
She's going to be like Maggie, just with who's running? Is it the Gimple or anyone that I hate? But it'd be funny if Gimple's running that show. She's got binoculars. Oh, this is a fate worse than death from a French villa. You know, oh, look at him. Oh, wow, they're trying to shoot day for night.
Struggle.
Look at him. You know.
$60 budget. He can't get this done. Are you kidding me?
That's right. It's noon. It's noon and it's bright and sunny, and this is supposed to be midnight. Just watch I want to see how they color correct this.
Mercer lays out the plan for their new goal of taking back the Commonwealth from the dead, and this is kind of like the turning point for the episode. It's sort of the halfway. Like,
it honestly sounded like he was narrating a next time on, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
There was something like, oh, we just started a new episode. And I bet when they re-air this on TV, that's exactly what it'll be.
Maybe. I would say this episode is not double length. It's only like 12 minutes longer than a standard episode of The Walking Dead.
I guess that's right.
It's 12 to somewhere in 12 to 20. So like, I was kind of surprised because I heard it was going to be big, but it turns out it's like 68 minutes or something.
I wonder what it was like watching this on AMC with commercials. I wonder if it's another one of those things where it's like 30 minutes of commercial.
Oh, yeah.
60 yeah.
Totally. Yeah, this was stretched out to 2 full TV hours for sure. But I watched it on AMC Plus. I didn't get any of that. Yeah, so the plan seems to be to lure the herd into the estates and then blow the whole thing up, which is kind of exactly what they do. They play music. Living Colors, Cult of Personality. It draws all of the walkers into the estates. They dump gas down the storm drains. Just barrels and barrels and barrels.
Getting money's worth out of sewers, yeah.
Full of fuel, gasoline or something. And then they open the gates, they let the walkers in and blow the estate sky high.
There's a lot of callbacks here. They had the medieval shield wall drills that we were making so much fun of during the Whisper arc. That shit paid off.
Clearing a path, yep.
Yeah.
And this is what seasons of the sewer sets have been culminating to, right? I mean, they had a plan for that all along. The sewers in The Walking Dead are a character.
Yeah. They carry the plot.
The shit tunnels of The Walking Dead.
Tens of thousands of gallons of gasoline. They carry a lot on this show. And they all stacked all this fuel. And I don't know where they got all the dynamite. That's like, they had so much fucking dynamite that they wired into this stuff too.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty kind of cool that like they designed the record player, the contact to be like when the record arm went back and hit the rest point. Now that's a ticklish little setup. Well, I'd hate to be the person setting that record up and then running.
Sure.
Because and then they had the Blue Weevil code name for Max. They called that back. I thought it was the establishing shot of like you're in Pamela's office and it's all these young pictures of her and Sebastian as a baby when the record runs out. And I don't know about you, but I thought this effects sequence was spectacular.
And I felt like this was kind of a callback to Beta's origin stuff too. The record player and the PA system and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, this explosion they spent some money on for sure.
Yeah, like the slow motion zombies being at the heart of the explosion, just being vaporized and ripped apart, and the aerial shot of just the entire estate just turning into fire.
Yeah,
it was
the last time I saw. Didn't the CDC look like similarly good? I can't remember. It's been 12 years.
I thought the CDC looked, unfortunately, CGI.
Really? Okay.
With this explosion, because they didn't literally blow up the building in downtown. You know, like I thought it looked a little. Yeah. I thought it looked a little fakey. That was my memory of it, but I don't know.
Okay, you could be right. But
remember, this was back in the days before Game of Thrones. Where they weren't spending $40 million a season on things, and Walking Dead never did. But this was a legit. This is the best thing I've ever seen them do in terms of CG, which isn't saying much, but I'll say it.
Sure, I agree.
I mean, this is like something out of the like in-game Stranger Things. You know, like it was just beautiful and amazing. Like the best zombie kills I've ever seen. Like those zombies the trio of zombies is getting vaporized, like Sarah Connor in a post-apocalyptic nuclear fantasy. Like I thought it was really cool
and effective. I mean, the scale is something that I think could take out an entire herd.
Yeah, it just resolved all plot points and let them just easily transition into the end game of the show.
And I love the comment later. I think it's from Maggie or maybe Carol. I don't know, who says, well, at least we don't have to figure out who gets your house because they blew it sky high. That's pretty good. And I think it's in this next scene here where Pamela's trying to justify her own actions by explaining to Carol and Daryl what they're in for as governors of the Commonwealth, and they lock her up and throw away the key.
Yeah, that's so lame. It's like, oh, wait until you get to be my spot and you'll have the hard problems like who's gonna pick up trash and who gets to live in the fancy houses. And it's like, yeah, there's lots of hard decisions to make, and
you know what? They're a lot easier to make when you care about the people that you're making the choices for, which you clearly don't, and Ezekiel clearly does. You have a preconceived
notion of how your life should be, you know, that like you've got to, you know,
you don't have a sense of entitlement. You don't, yeah.
But to be fair to the real world, the show does yada yada over like all the tough things, like it's just,
that first year.
They blew the thing up, and that was it. That was the last problems they had. It was just Ezekiel and Mercer just getting stuff done from there on out. What was their tax policy? How did they divide the labor? Where did they put everybody?
Uh-huh.
How do you deal with people trusting the government after they feed you to zombies?
I mean, that's taken care of by the people who overthrew that government righteously stepping into positions of power.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
They probably trust them pretty much.
You also have a military coup that successfully transitions to civilian leadership. I would like to know more. I'd like to know more of that story. But
well, maybe you should tune in for one of the various spin-offs. Not saying they'll give you more information, but
yeah, I'm sure it'll be. I want to see West Wing Walking Dead is what I want to see.
Yeah. So we cut from the newly imprisoned Pamela to everyone's favorite former prisoner, Negan. I think, to be fair, the only other people in that category are Magna and Axel, and neither of them are in contention. Maggie thanks Negan for apologizing, but says she can never forgive him for killing Glenn, and does give him permission to stay within their community, but says some days I might hate you. And this is an amazing scene.
Because I want to remember my husband the way he was, this beautiful, kind man. And Glenn was. He was like the good one. Out of all the group, he's the one that probably lost the least of his humanity and gave as much as he could to his fellow people. And he didn't deserve what he got. And like Negan realizing what a big piece of shit he was. And I thought JDM did a great job of emoting that. Like he said, he's just taking it. He's not trying to defend himself. He's just letting her... and like the fact that like I want to remember him like that, but when I see his face, all I can see is you beating him with that bat and mocking his death, and like it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, amazing scene. I mean, Lauren Cohen is incredible, and JDM is incredible opposite her.
And like we said, it's like we did not like a lot of the things they were doing with the Maggie and Negan reunion plot, but it worked enough to where you can pay off in this moment. And I think that's what Kang is very good at. She's very good at drawing the vaguely remembered threads of things that happened and elevating it with this type of stuff. That's what, like, whereas the Gimple era was having 4 aces and somehow losing the pot. You know?
Totally. Yep, I agree.
She bluffs real hard with the pair is what I'm saying. Hey, don't shamble off. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, survivors. Here's even more of The Walking Dead.
There's a big family meal where everyone is enjoying their victory and the company of each other. Yumiko toasts Luke, and Carol, everybody who doesn't give a shit about Luke is like... I think it's a mistake to cut to Maggie in that moment when they're toasting Luke, because she's been gone for half the time Luke was even... party of any of their communities. She just fucked off, and he's been living in Oceanside for so long that even when she came back, she didn't know who he was, really.
Right.
Cut to somebody who matters in that moment. Negan walks by outside the window and nods to Daryl. You get the impression that maybe he's leaving, maybe. I don't know.
He's preparing to, for sure.
To. It'll take him a year, maybe, but...
Yeah.
Magna and Yumiko become a couple again, I think.
Oh, my notes just say, no, don't do it. You can do better. You can do better. You don't want to. Come on now.
They really backburnered Magna this last season, didn't they? Like, I'm shocked at how backburnered she was. Ever since she became a waitress serving hors d'oeuvres at fancy parties, she's been a nothing in this show. Do you think that's like because the audience kind of didn't like her?
I don't. Maybe she had some other things she was doing, but yeah, she was definitely like she came on to essentially tell the other guy who was railroaded by society to like, hey, I was in prison, I know how you feel, and to kiss Miko, to give Yumiko a happy ending. But like to me, this is a night like I thought they broke up for good reasons, man.
Yes.
And like, if I was getting
they
together
didn't do
with
anything with Magna this season that made me think she had changed at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying you should never get back together with exes, but I definitely think you should ask what has changed.
Yes,
with yourself and the other person that would make it not go And I just feel like, these are people that I don't know. They just survived this death-defying experience. I was a little disappointed to see them get back together because I hate Magna. I like Miko. And I don't think they're good together. I don't think they think they're good together. But what are you going to do?
Agreed. Rosita whispers to Gabriel that she was bit, and Judith realizes the same.
It's kind of cheating to have Landslide by Fleetwood Mac scoring this whole scene, because I think
it's an amazing song.
It's an amazing song. It makes you feel a certain way, and like they're doing a lot of heavy lifting here. But it's super effective. Like I just like Rosita just kind of happily, as you can see she's visibly fading, is just kind of like seeing everybody be happy. This is the happy ending that Rick always wanted for everybody, and it looks like now they're going to get it. Yeah,
and a partial sad ending, right? I mean, this whole stuff with Rosita is it's bittersweet. She's gotten to see her family and her friends in a safe place. Coco's going to be okay, but she's not going to live beyond that.
Now I'm thinking about it, did Daryl give that bro nod to Negan because they'd worked out in advance that he was going to leave, and he's going to leave that compass to Judith, and because like they almost did the opposite of setting up a Maggie Negan thing. Negan left the community because he got from that conversation, maybe I'd be welcome to stay here, but like it would be unconscionable for me to do so. I don't know what he does with his pregnant wife wandering the wastelands, but he's had a wife in a bad condition in the wastelands before, so
that's maybe the one thing they should have given us a clue to. But I'm appreciative that they didn't really go hard on setting up the Maggie Negan spinoff here, because it would have just been laborious for me.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's like so why does Negan takes off and Maggie goes to find him to say, hey, actually it's cool. I bet they have already shot
the opening scenes that they need in the Commonwealth for that next series spinoff.
You think so?
Some of it will. That's what the beginning of that show will be.
Okay, because I thought they would do like because you've seen the trailers, I'm sure, and they've got Lauren Cohen looking a lot aggressively sexy.
Sure.
And it's just her and Negan. There's no Glenn Jr. or Herschel to be found.
Like climbing a ladder. That's it.
Yeah, I thought there would be a lot more tracks led to that, and now I just have a bunch of questions about how it begins. Because I think they're not like traveling roadshow buddy cool at the end of this episode, which was what I was predicting. I was predicting that they would go through something super traumatic that would weld them together. Like Negan would lose his whole family, she would lose Herschel, and then they're on some kind of vengeance mission. But no, there's literally no track to put that train on. So good.
Yeah, I mean it takes at least a year for Maggie to leave the community, right? She says she wants to go explore the larger world, but that's not until the memorial of Rosita's death. So maybe we should get to that. The group puts Rosita down like a beloved pet with a terminal illness. Gabriel prays over her, and Eugene thanks her for making him the man he is today, which is admittedly a much better man than he was when this all started.
It is wild that Eugene is the one that gets the last moment with her, not her husband.
Yeah,
not her daughter. The rolling roast beef sandwich comes up and be like, "Hey, Rosita, remember how I used to creep on you and Abraham when you're having sex? I kind of got off to it. Boy, we gone a long way since then, haven't we?" And she's like, "Can I just die in peace? I was so close, Eugene."
Right? No, she says the opposite. I'm glad it was you in the end. What?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
I guess she always knew he'd be the death of her. That's what makes sense there.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I was like, ever since, like, I was pretty much a mess ever since Fleetwood Mac started their shit, and I thought Carol and Maggie, like, being the two moms, kind of, I guess Carol, a mom emeritus at this point, ushering in her to bed with Coco. And then Gabriel giving her last rites. I thought that was pretty, which kind of amused her, which I thought that was appropriate. And then him leaving her with "I'll see you again someday," which is like shows that he has come a full circle with his faith. And
I do feel like
to die peacefully. That's a win in this world, surrounded by people that love you.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing. She has like the most connections in this group, right? Because I'm thinking about the other people who have loved ones in the community here. Carol's got like nobody but Zeke. and Daryl rather.
Okay, yeah.
But Rosita has Gabriel and Daryl and the baby. Sorry, not Daryl. Gabriel, Eugene, the baby. I guess Maggie. She was part of her community for a long while, so Maggie cares, I suppose. Everybody else is like, I'm just trying to think, is there anyone who's more appropriate to have this loving send off for? I think the answer is no. I think Rosita makes the most sense here, because I couldn't really see it for Carol. It'd just be Daryl bedside, like, ready for the knife.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. I think Carol Daryl would have been powerful, because, you know, you could have had so many people coming in and crying over Carol. You could have had not Eugene. You could have had Ezekiel. You could have Judith. You could have Maggie. You could have Daryl. I
guess Maggie and Maggie and Carol haven't. I guess they've had scenes together and they've been pretty good scenes, but it's mostly like Carol telling Maggie things she needs to hear.
Out of all the people they could have killed, this is probably the best combination of history, acting chops, and value in terms of piece on the chessboard.
Yeah, I think so.
And she was a fucking hero throughout the whole episode until she died. Like, she got to do some of the most badass shit, got to do a lot of cool stunts, got to save her child with her sheer mom strength. I mean, it's a pretty good way to go out.
Mm-hmm. All right. We jump forward 1 year later. Eugene commemorates the anniversary of Rosita's death by the fountain dedicated to all of their lost friends. He and Max apparently have a child named Rosie.
That's the real memorial.
The child?
Yeah, named after Rosita.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I didn't get that. She was named Rosie.
You didn't make that connection, bro.
No,
that's a completely different name, distinct from Rosita.
Right.
What? This is Eugene speaks in riddles and code. I could possibly figure that one out.
Ezekiel is the governor and Mercer is lieutenant governor. And I really like this. The big speech he gives to the crowd, which we only see like the tail end of. But
yeah, like I said, it's the tribute version of the greatest political speech that can accurately sum up the last year of history of the Commonwealth. And
but you've got, you know, a guy who okay, we can talk about how, you know, he let the plumbing destroy his entire kingdom, but he's also the man who deeply cares about the people that he is serving with his leadership,
and backs it up.
Yes, at every turn. And I think he's the perfect guy to be governing here. Mercer, I wonder what also
such. I was thinking about the political ramifications of like. Mm-hmm. He is your governor, and under your old system, he would have died as refuse on because no one they had to pull massive strings, and Carol had to play dirty games to get him to the front of the medicine line because he was in the poor category. I just think it's like, you know, like what better person to like usher in this new, more fair egalitarian system than a person like, look how great a government. I wouldn't even have made it on the old, you know, the Pamela Milton Commonwealth, and how many other people have been left behind, and no one's going. It's like it works. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't write a better speech, because I think I guess I just want to see Gary Payton knock it out of the park one more time. Is that his name?
Yeah, Carrie
Payton
with an H. Yeah. And then Mercer as his lieutenant governor, it just feels right. He's another guy who deeply cares about justice and the people that he's serving, and he knows how it can go wrong.
Not a great politician, but like Ezekiel's going to groom him along, and he'll be the next generation, because, you know, Eugene's getting up there, or Ezekiel's getting up there in years, and it's a cancer survivor. So like, it's like you feel like the Commonwealth is in good hands leadership wise.
Yes,
and Carol is the dirty tricks person.
She's the ambassador, I would say.
She's a real fixer now, not a fixer but she's like fixing the things wrong in the community that need fixing.
Totally. And Daryl has chosen to live outside the community, I guess, as a frontiersman. I think, unless he's living in Alexandria and she's just calling it the frontier.
I think that's the implication, that you've got the more rustic Alexandrians, and he probably is out patrolling, looking for herds. The same shit he's been doing for 7 seasons now. And
Connie's happy working in the administration in some capacity. We don't really know
I think
what her
she's a
title
journalist
is.
still, because she says, I'm keeping the administration honest. That's her traditional journalist role. And she looks super cute in her little medicine woman dress.
So she's running the Commonwealth Times or whatever.
Yeah, I thought she was like, kind of like notice me a little bit. And Daryl's like, nope, gotta go on my next series. I don't do no romance, man.
You said there's some kind of line. I assume it would be here if there was a goodbye for dog, but I didn't hear it.
Somebody said yes. The dog showed up in the house when they were all listening to Landslide. He was like, hopping around, getting treats out of people's hands.
The dinner party.
I think somewhere here, whenever he says goodbye to the kids is when they talk about they'll watch dog.
Then why doesn't Daryl take dog with him? I feel like
they can't afford dog budget. Can't afford snossage. The snossage, the below the line number for snossages on this show got out of control.
It's zero at this point. Judith gets a pocket watch from Negan with her initials engraved on it.
Oh, it's a compass. It's the one. So do you remember this when he broke out of prison and he snuck into the Grimes house and like creeped through all their stuff? This is the compass that had her initials carved on. He stole out of her room before he went on the lam.
Really? Wow.
And I guess he's held on to this whole time as a memory of, her inherent goodness and her father's goodness. And it's
Carl's
been
goodness. Yeah.
Been nice if they'd have had that in the series at all. So that at first glance, you didn't have to look it up. It's like, what the fuck is this compass with JG? But yeah.
Yeah.
It all tracks back to mid-episode or mid-season 9.
And we see that Alexandria is thriving again, potentially under the oversight of Carol and/or Aaron. I think Aaron's leading that community.
Are you disappointed that Jerry's not running a kingdom of his own?
Yeah, that Rainfest.
Isn't he just visiting? Because he's looking very regal. His outfit's looking very Rainfest regal.
Maybe. It's hard to tell where everybody is governing from or over, because everybody is kind of moving around and visiting and saying goodbyes as they're leaving to go on other missions. And
Yeah.
Anyway, Maggie says she wants to go explore the larger world, and Daryl's going to leave, and he says goodbye to Carol and what's left of the Grimes family, promising to bring back any signs he finds of Rick or Michonne. And he gives Carol one last hug and says, I love you.
Just like your mom and dad all promised to eventually come back.
Right?
This is your worst nightmare that you just articulated to me a year ago at your most vulnerable point and is now coming true.
Right? Yeah. You got any items that are engraved, like maybe a cell phone or something you want to give me that I can...
I got this pocket watch. I just got this pocket watch compass that, I guess I haven't needed for several years, so take it.
And yeah, gives Carol one last hug, says, I love you, and then heads off on his bike. It's very sweet.
Oh, that's cute. Her fussing over him and kind of like, do it. Yeah. And
Daryl, though, really undermining the stronger together message that this show has been going for. But, he is who he is. What are you going to do?
Yep. It's sure, ever stronger together. But you know what? The pie's a lot bigger when you're the only one getting pieces out of it. So there's that other saying. And that's kind of the end of what you would consider the Walking Dead storyline as we know it. But before we get to the Rick and Michonne part, as Daryl is taking off, there is one zombie that's front and center that he steers around. He's got long hair. That is Greg Nicotero.
Nice.
If the internet is not lying to me. So the old man finally made it in as a zombie. Does he? He never has been before, has he? That's been like something.
True? I don't know. A lot of zombies on this show. I couldn't say for
Almost
sure.
didn't recognize him outside of his beret.
Sure. Yeah, so let's do the Rick and Michonne stuff, which is kind of both a teaser and a wrap-up. The Rick and Michonne sit by the campfire, think about the dead and the living as they talk about how everyone is part of a single continuum of life, I guess. A continuum that is a single life. Apparently, Michonne believes in an afterlife.
Endless love. I've heard a song about this.
Sure. She says Carl is literally alive out there somewhere and promises to find him is she talking about heaven? Is she talking about like maybe Carl's not actually dead, though we've seen his body? Like,
no, I think she's talking about Rick, and Rick's talking about Michonne. And the concept here is they're both writing messages to bottles that they're going to hope gets back to their family in some horseshit way.
yeah. It's cut like almost like they're together in a weird way at the beginning of this, right? Because they're both kind of in similar situations, sitting by campfires, but they're not. It's
kind of like in Five Goes West, where him and his sister are both singing to the same moon. It's kind of that thing. They're both around a campfire thinking of each other, and it's shot like they're together, but clear they're not.
Right. Because we'll find out that Rick, he throws his pack onto a boat as a chopper circles overhead, demanding that he surrender.
And that pack is later found by Virgil, right? That's how Virgil gets a hold of the cell phone?
I think so, because that boat is super familiar to me, yeah.
Because I also think that this, like, Rick is all flashed back to something that happened years before, and Michonne is, like, current day.
I think.
Well, Scott Gimple wrote this whole scene and was sinfully proud about it because he's telling everybody on the after show and the red that he wrote this thing. I think this is a mess. I think this was really confusing. The most effective part was the video montage of literally everyone has been on the show.
Right, but all the language over that was very confusing to me. As I said, I mean, I literally thought that Michonne believed in an afterlife because she thought that
she was going
people that she knew were dead were out there somewhere.
Right, she was going to go onto the ancestral plane, say hi to Black Panther, find Carl there chilling, and then bring him back. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was dumb. I thought like the stuff it worked for what it is. Like when Rick was talking about all the people he'd known and all the things he's taken from them and the things that made him who he is today. Like that, but like when they start talking about how we're the ones that live because we never die, because we're all one love and we're endless because love is endless and we're pieces of like we're a colony of bacteria, and what does it matter if a cell or two gets killed as long as the colony survives? It's fine, but it's just like I thought it was just a word salad mess of a
exactly.
Of a
it is Scott Gimple going, why use 20 words when 400 will do? Like he's wanting to make the point and feeling like the thing I wrote in the last sentence doesn't really get across exactly what I want. But I like parts of it, so let's just write another sentence that says a little bit more about it. And I'm close, but not quite. There was never anything cut from the dialogue there.
I think
he always just like kept adding on and adding on and adding on and ended up with a mess. Yeah.
I think Scott Gimple is the worst part of The Walking Dead. If we're going to rate showrunners, he's at the dead last, and it's not even close. It's Darabont, Kang, Mazzara, and Gimple, like ... Gimple, because Gimple not only did
Dog is in there somewhere between Mazzara and Gimple.
But the big problem with Gimple is like no one could tell him anything. Like he took over that show and is the biggest show on television, not even a lie. Thought he did it. Is the class, like he had very little experience, but he thought everything he did was gold. Because he wrote that one episode that made us all cry when Lori died.
I mean, it's not an unwarranted confidence. Like AMC kept
he presided over the
over.
largest drop of audience, and he's still intimately involved in all this stuff. And I don't understand, because like I thought this is the one thing he took credit for in this episode, and it's the worst part.
Close. I'm not a fan of the back of the hospital, but
gotcha.
Yeah, it's not amazing. Like you said, we're the ones who live. You see flashes of everyone saying we're the ones who live as Michonne rides headlong into a herd and Rick surrenders to that chopper. Outside of a city,
New York?
Atlanta, it has a lot of big buildings, but it's so destroyed I can't actually tell.
What body of water could this possibly be?
Right? This is not a river around New York. I can tell you that much.
No, it's not. Like, it's not across from
the Hudson. This is way too small to be the Hudson, unless global warming is kicked into high gear.
It's also tough because the city's fucked up. There's clearly buildings that have fallen down. It's like I wasn't sure if it was like Philadelphia. But I don't know, like a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
like, yeah, I don't have a good handle on many city skylines. But
Same here.
It's some big city.
Yeah. And then we cut over to Judith, who says, "We're the ones who live one final time," as her and I think RJ or yeah,
It's definitely RJ.
It's RJ.
Rick Jr.
Okay,
Rick Jr.
are looking out over just like the sea of flowers. I see they've taken their strategy from the hilltop where they plant all their crops outside the gates.
I think this is
That
literally
couldn't go
Hilltop.
disastrously wrong.
I think this is literally Hilltop. They're back at Hilltop. in
Oh,
this
you're
scene.
right. You're right.
I like the trooper scarecrows. I thought that was cool.
Okay. Yeah.
I liked how we ended. I wasn't sure about the Rick stuff because I'm pretty sure these are different times. I have no idea who this guy asshole in the helicopter he is talking to and what it means to be a consignee and why he's barefoot with this triple circle thing and why he's stepping so lightly as a barefooted person in this beach that's just essentially zombie faces
Yeah.
with biting feet. But
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
assuming all of this is explained in Fear the Walking Dead. At least, the circle stuff, who these circle communities are.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then we get, that's not really the end of the episode because there's a big ol' advertisement for the Walking Dead spinoffs. There is Dead City, which is the Megan spinoff, Maggie and Negan. There is the super inventively titled Daryl Dixon and the super inventively titled Rick and Michonne.
Right. Yeah, why did they go Dead City? Why isn't it just Negan and Maggie?
Right. So you pick a theme and stick, because Gimple was naming him. He's just like, I don't know.
Because it seems like Dead City is the one that they're furthest along on. I bet they got that because these others are essentially working titles. They're gonna call.
But my God, to advertise them in big bold fonts with title cards and everything as Rick and Michonne and Daryl Dixon. I mean, the Daryl Dixon one's got to be pretty far along too, right? You don't want to give him like a year off and then he just he changes his mind. I don't know.
100 pounds overweight,
right?
balding. No,
they need him
missing
sweating
teeth.
in the woods of Georgia in order to keep that weight off. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the incentive for him to come back. Like, I honestly feel like Norman Reedus has phoned in a vast stretches in terms of even stunt work in this season. So, like, I'm not like, what does he look like when he's anchoring a thing? The tagline of all this, bigger and deader. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And Fear the Walking Dead gets a little bit of.
Yeah. Also, that's still going on.
Mm-hmm. And that is the Walking Dead universe.
The Walking Dead universe. They also had a sweet moment with the stars all saying goodbye to the fans, and they got everybody back. They got Chandler Riggs, Sarah Wayne Callies, David Morrissey showed up, Lenny James, of course, Chad Coleman. Like people long gone and gone on other projects came back to just do a little thank you package for fans. I thought that was pretty.
I did too.
Cute.
I liked it. A lot of it felt. I guess the people who've been on the show longer felt more heartfelt. Like Daryl. Norman Reedus saying that he loves everybody and thanks them. That was I felt like that was real.
Plus, they're still buttering his bread, so he
sure.
He better.
That's it for The Walking Dead. Are we ready? Are you ready, Aaron, to start the Walking Dead rewatch podcast?
No. I think I'm going to take 11 seasons off and think of our other options, and then sure, when we come back for the 20th anniversary, then
I mean, the 20th anniversary, we're over halfway there, man. We're over halfway to the 20th anniversary for The Walking Dead.
We have, without a doubt, spent 1,000 hours talking about this show.
Gotta be, with instant takes and feedback episodes, and
that's what I'm thinking. There's something like 378 episodes of The Walking Dead, bare minimum an hour a piece, and then you talk about the instant takes, you talk about the feedback episodes.
The hour and a half that is our typical podcast, at least.
Right. Yeah, no, it's certainly the thing we have the most coverage of, like, especially you and I. Like, I think maybe the Breaking Bad universe might if I'd stuck with Better Call Saul to the end, but yeah, it's the end of an era and the beginning of a universe. What do you think that they're actually going to be able keep doing these things, or do you think these things are all going to be, these are all essentially vanity projects clinging on to things that are...
I mean, it's the best bet they got, right? Like, I'm trying to think of the other AMC stuff that's happening. I feel like it's Shudder is probably like the number 2 thing that is making them money. But The Walking Dead has to be their biggest earner still.
Yeah.
Even with the diminished audience, because what other shows?
And if you are in on this, will you still be on for a limited version of something that has like a fraction of the budget? I don't know. Also, correction, sure. There's only 177 episodes of The Walking Dead.
Oh, then we didn't hit 1,000 hours.
Probably 500. Let's say 500.
Sure.
Maybe 500. That's a lot of hours. It's a lot of episodes. And I know for a fact that I'm going to watch at least a couple hours more when the Negan stuff comes out, when the Daryl Dixon stuff come out, especially. Probably the Rick and Michonne thing. I'm kind of vested in that. I'm not going to promise podcasts or even probably reasonably tease them. But if we do watch them, I'm sure we'll talk about them on OTC, our premium off the clock show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of mix. Like I said, I had a lot of emotions at the end of this. Even some of the fan package stuff. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a softie right now, but I think it's hard to get to the end of this and not feel something about it. You know, this has been the second show we started covering, you know, on a lark because we had so much fun with Breaking Bad, and you were. It
was the first show we tried to cover. It
could have been the very first show. In fact, it was like we just didn't release the episodes. But yeah, it was the very first pod. We just I don't know why
people don't know. Let's throw a little bit of history in here. If people don't know this podcast started in our minds as a podcast called Zombie Drill, which we in the lead up to season 1 of The Walking Dead, we're going to review Romero's famous zombie movies, the originals.
Yep.
Like
we're gonna work our way through the classics.
And we had this kind of all ready to go. We recorded a couple podcasts, and I forget why it didn't happen exactly, but it probably snuck up on us like a lot of stuff does.
Yeah.
And we just didn't have it ready in time. But yeah, started life as a podcast called Zombie Drill, and when we finally got around to actually doing it, it turned into The Walking Dead.
And it is, but it's like the second show we kind of officially covered. It's certainly the longest show we've covered at this point. And, we just talking about this on lunch with Jim and Aaron, or one of our other premium podcasts. Someone was talking about how we felt about it. And this show also has probably a disproportionate amount of audience. Like it's hard to beat the giant net that was Game of Thrones towards the end. But like 11 seasons, and at its height, this was like, back in the day, this and The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones kind of duked it out. Every year they'd come back and they'd both double their audiences. And it's kind of running rock and neck. Eventually Game of Thrones left everybody in the dust, but like, disproportionate size of our fan base also comes out of the Walking Dead history.
Yeah, found us on The Walking Dead, may not still be watching the show, but they're listening to us still.
We rage quit this show and came back during a real life pandemic and picked it back up and started covering it, and now we're here. It's like what a fucking long twisting road we've had with this thing. Yeah, kind of amazing. We will have at least one more episode. We're going to wrap things up. We got to open up our mailbag, see how everybody else thought about this final season. And I also want to say that if you are a fan of Bald Move and our zombie stuff, you might want to subscribe to Bald Move Pulp, because that's where we put all of our zombie science fiction type coverage, because in just about 2 months, a little under 2 months, what I think is going to be a really fine zombie show, The Last of Us, is going to come into HBO. And Jim and I, like, it's back in the old Darabont days where it's like, oh my God, a prestige zombie show. What the hell are we going to do? Yeah. We're going to get the band right back together and fight more zombies with Pedro Pascal and Little Lady Mormont. So definitely subscribe to Bald Move Pulp, but that sounds like a good time to you, because we're going to be starting that January 15th is when the first episode drops, and we're going to be there from the beginning. So not taking a huge long zombie vacation. And And yeah, just if you want to follow us, twitter.com/baldmove is a great place. We also have baldmove.com. If something were to happen to Twitter, I don't know why it would, but if something were to happen, we've got baldmove.com. We've got a Discord at discord.baldmove.com if you want to follow our community. Because we'd sure like to have you along for a lot of the rides. And we've got a bunch of stuff this year in terms of returning shows like Severance and Yellow Jackets and Foundation. I mentioned The Last of Us that we're super excited for. And we'd like to have you along, keep you along on the Bald Move experiment. Watching Dead at baldmove.com if you want to send in any feedback for the wrap-up show that we'll be recording next week after Thanksgiving. For mainline stuff, this is it. This is the end. Any last words, Jim?
No, we'll see you next week. We can do all of our last words there.
Well, until then, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Jim.
Rest in piss, The Walking Dead.